Aladdin was released on the Sega Genesis in 1993 and started the tradition of awesome Disney titles developed by Virgin Games. As you probably already know, this is a platformer where you take Aladdin through the world created in the feature film. Aladdin has straightforward platforming mechanics. His melee attack is a traditional sword, which works as one would expect. Additionally, throughout the levels are apples that can be collected and then used as a long-range projectile. I'm not sure what the developers intended, but I did find throwing apples at enemies was a far more effective way to dispatch them compared to close-range combat with the sword. There are plenty of apples scattered throughout the levels, and I never had to worry about running out. I feel side-scrolling platformers live and die by their jumping physics. A stiff or unresponsive jump will ruin an otherwise solid game. Thankfully, the controls in Aladdin are responsive and the jumping is as precise as the best games in the genre. There is one odd quirk, however. If you are standing on the very edge of a ledge, Aladdin will jump farther than if he is in the middle of a platform. This creates some awkward moments later in the game, as occasionally you won't trigger the long jump and fall into a pit of death. It's a bit odd and not something I've experienced in other games, so I thought it was worth mentioning. The main goal of the game is simply to make it to the end of the stage and move the plot along. I enjoy the layout of the levels, as rather than simply moving from left to right, many of them take you all over, up, down, left, right, and it makes the stages seem bigger than they are. Seemingly randomly, a merchant will appear and sell you some extra lives with the gems you've collected. There's also a hidden Abu icon that will enable a slot machine minigame after the stage is complete. With a little luck, you can rack up a few extra lives. Like the film it's based on, Aladdin has a beautiful art style that captures the wonder our culture used to have for the Middle East. The architecture and bold, vibrant colors look excellent and have aged well. Aladdin does a really great job of setting different moods based purely on color. This dungeon level uses many shades of blue that really set a somber tone compared to the bright yellows of Agrabah. More impressive than the graphics is the music. Many of the classic songs from the movie have made their way into the game, and the developers managed to transform these vocal pieces into excellent background music. It's the kind of music that will get stuck in your head for days, which is the highest compliment I can offer any soundtrack. Aladdin got a lot of hype back in the day because of Disney's involvement in the development. Reports indicate Disney animators drew Aladdin and did his animations. While that all sounds great, I don't find the work here any different than other Virgin games. That is to say, the character sprites are detailed and animated well, but you aren't going to confuse this for a cartoon. The quality is quite high, but I wouldn't call it revolutionary. The difficulty curve in Aladdin ramps up quite nicely as you progress through the stages. The game starts off fairly easy, where patience is all that is required to make your way through the level, but the game slowly ramps things up with more difficult jumps requiring more precision. Later on, boulders will chase you through caves and you'll need quick reflexes and perfect timing to succeed. All of those lives you racked up at the beginning will really come in handy. To me, what makes a 20-year-old game good is how it makes you feel. How are the controls, the level layouts, the challenge? Does the music capture that 90s sound? Do the 2D sprites leap off the screen? More importantly, how do all of these things blend together, and does it make for an enjoyable experience? Aladdin gets nearly everything right and is an absolute blast to play. I really wish I had gotten to play this as a kid, as I would have loved how it captures the feeling of the film, while still delivering an excellent gaming experience. Even without nostalgia goggles, this is an awesome game. So awesome, in fact, I started looking on eBay for a copy of the DVD so I could rewatch the film. I'm not saying it's at the level of Super Mario World or Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but it's definitely a classic, and for that, I give it a 4 out of 5.